Good morning. Good morning, all. I have a few announcements that I have to make this morning. They have to be serious, so I have to speak in my normal tone. I can't entertain you all with the usual larrikin persona that you might have become accustomed to, the cross-dressing, the swearing, the carrying on, the all the things necessary in order to speak to the Australia that this Australian Labor Party has made. It is kind of the lowest common denominator, and it is intended to strip all the moral values, virtues, all those the customs and belief systems that kept us all together as a wonderful empire, as a wonderful Christian group, as a European group, all these things that have been well and truly minced up in the Albanese butcher shop and forcibly injected into a pastry with a 20-cent Master Foods squeezy sauce provided for you all. And I'm in shock and awe. And it was very, very pleasing to me this morning I was introduced to a representative back home by the name of Rupert Lowe, who is forming a party called the Restore Britain, not Reform. Reform was all right. It seemed to be a gathering of vacuum cleaner salesmen and double glazing salesmen, and they fought the good fight for as long as they possibly could. Once enough time had gone under, or enough water had gone under the bridge, we seem to have located all the remnants of the British Empire, and we were hoping very much to get that whole thing going again. It appears, unfortunately, the British Empire was stolen and hijacked by... Now, I have to say this technically. This is a legally binding statement here. And I've spent a lot of time... formulating the exact statement that will be hard and fast and will form the foundation of our legal defence for the future. And the British Empire was hijacked and commandeered and stolen, funnily enough, give me a moment, by the women of the British Empire. Now, unfortunately, the women of the British Empire have been seen to not be able to maintain their leadership and stewardship role. It has fallen into, unfortunately, mass disrepair, disorder, and just dissociated planning and really a nightmarish situation. I think we've probably been really within this hard and fast ruling for approximately 15, 20 years. Okay, and then the last 10 years especially have been the things going wrong. Everything has been the fact. It's very much like, I remember I taught my daughter how to drive, and she would say, yes, I can drive. And then she couldn't, so I had to then teach her how to drive. And it's a similar thing to that. And maybe eventually one day, but the empire is a little bit more difficult to drive. So we're going to have to take it back. We appreciate all the hard work and all the effort and all the observation, and especially all the feedback. We've received a lot of feedback from the women of the British Empire, and we've taken it all on board. But now in these emergency conditions, these very extreme conditions, left in an extreme state of disrepair, disorder, really inhumane conditions. Okay, it's not a suitable environment to raise children in, especially a country that I referred to the other day as Baby Oz. And so I've had to don the army greens. Obviously, underneath here as well, I'll just represent that my claim and my all those things back to the British Empire. It's a long journey. I'm here in Western Australia, but it does go all the way back to Hobart and Tasmania. for 185 years, and then back to a place called Kent. I had a phone call this morning from Kent, so everything seems to be going swimmingly over there. And obviously establishing this, Great Yarmouth? Is that how you say it? This alliance with Mr. Lowe to push back and to, I'm hoping, really spread this out. So we've got to get this revised Magna Carta to all recipients. I'm here also to represent the Crown to establish a firm grounding within their involvement in this and what powers have been removed from them and by the government as an entity. And then, this obviously existing in the UK puts into question the Australian government and their association, whether they're ruled and whether their head of state is in fact the monarch or the monarch represented by the government or a mix and a match. And it's just a real mess. And basically we need to get back to just hard and fast reality. We need to know exactly where we all are, and we don't. And that is why we are going to put together a test. So if you're a citizen, and this applies to everybody, but most importantly, public servants, you will be required to undertake a test that will test your ability. It's a triangulation test, and it's going to find out whether you are sustainably minded. So whether your policies and your state of mind and your the way that you do things and see things will end up with an actual, a result in realistic view, or whether you are indebting the population in perpetuity. You will be forced to, this is a requirement to be in a government position, that you have to understand the basics of economic, I'm going to call it economic physics. Okay, economics is kind of it's a floating floating knowledge set. It's a floating profession and educational concept, but it needs to be permanently tied to a physical reality. Okay, now there has been a huge exploration into the extreme of a disconnected, dissociated economic system, and we are now at the most ridiculous high watermark of that system. On the day that we went off on the day that the United States went off the gold standard, we were already there, and so now we are not just dealing with the fractional reserve banking system, with the exchange rates, with the ridiculous compounding interest on depreciating assets and interest on that, but we're also dealing with the extended liabilities of completely unsustainable political practice. And then what's worse is we have a system that cannot regulate itself. So we have indebted servants 7 times over, able to utilize the entire forces of the state government in the form of police and courts and judicial systems and ridiculous family court laws and all these things, in order to provide, to remove children, remove influence. And basically what you'd call it is it's colonization all over again. But it's cannibalistic colonization. We are here as the same people, and my intention has never left the protection of Aboriginal people. This actually, Aboriginal people get disaffected the most from this unsustainable and disconnected economic and political system. They are the worst affected by it. And that's, as a representative of the British Empire, as a British subject, my representation of this this socialist, communist, snowball, because basically they have no intention of they are purely all into a system where they will provide you with everything you need, and they will steal every last thing of you. And they've shown this already by trying to sell historic military properties and things like that, and they're selling them to us. So we're going to buy those properties, and basically them selling those is a complete surrender and a submission to the accusations that we're throwing at them. Whether they say it or not, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, but our plan is to not once remove our guns from them, our gun sights from them, until there is a full and utter surrender, so that we can reorder a gigantic mess that that is elevating people that are it's like speculating, but it's like they're gambling, and it's like everything is new. So all this happened in the Great Depression. This is 1,000 times worse in 1,000 new ways. Okay, and what we are using as our ground, as our rock bottom comparative system to hold up against this is hard and fast historical precedent of thousands and thousands of years of human civilization. And that is where every day for the next probably 10 years, we will hold up hard and fast historical precedent on urban development, on sustainable production of basic human needs and economic stability and political stability, education, religious, all of that stuff. You've been in a daydream, and I'm sorry to tell you, but it's over. So, wakey, up you get. Come on, all of you's out. There's a scene. I saw there was an Airbnb party, and the owners came in. This is in Melbourne, which is ground zero for this nonsense. And it was a couple of Asian property managers walked in. There was a huge party, uncontrollable. All the neighbours are pissed off. All the police there. And then there was a couple of kids waking up in there. It's like that's basically displaying what's going on everywhere. There needs to be consequences. You need to have skin in the game to be able to be trying to adjudicate the game. Okay, you can't. This floating nonsense, progressive utopian bulldozer has had the keys taken out of it, and they haven't paid their fucking insurance, they haven't paid their hire purchase, they haven't paid their storage facility, they haven't paid for fuel, they haven't paid for tires. They've stolen a bulldozer, they've graffitied labor on the side of it, and they have driven it through every street and every town in this entire country, and at home as well in Great Britain. So keep calm, carry on. All of this will be sorted in good time, and look after yourselves. Goodbye.